So today is all about how we quote, paraphrase, and summarize our information to make our essay the best possible essay we can have. So we took notes and we have lots of direct quotations, but we can't just write our paper from direct quotations. We have to use some of that information in a paraphrase or some of that information in a summary because we can't have 4 and 6 and 8 quotes per paragraph. It just doesn't make for good writing. So this more is going to teach you a whole lot about the different types of quoting, paraphrasing, and summarizing and when to use them. And that's what this section right here is all about. So if you click through this, you're going to see how to use your quotes, how to use your paraphrases, and how to use a summary, and how to use them to the best effect. Then there's a video that gives you an example and shows you a little bit more in depth and maybe gives you the information in a different way. Then we practice. So to practice, we read this paragraph, this article right here, okay? So these 3 paragraphs are about butterflies. And when you read the article, then you're going to determine what's the topic and then what's the topic of each paragraph. Right now, what we're going to do is we're going to talk through the first example. So after we read this passage about butterflies, we learn that there are 3 key ideas. So each of these paragraphs has its own topic, okay? Then we have these pieces of research that our imaginary student has found, okay? So this first piece of research tells us that butterflies usually have an unusual life cycle that has 4 stages, and it breaks it down and tells us all about the 4 stages, okay? So to figure out how we're going to use this piece of information, we have to start by deciding what's the topic of this slide. Well, I can tell from the topic sentence of this paragraph that this slide is all about the life cycle of a butterfly, okay? What would be the best way to use this information? Paraphrase, summary, or quote, and why? Well, when we read our article up above about butterflies, we know that the second paragraph talks about butterflies and gives details about the life cycle, but it doesn't maybe go into this level of detail. So the best place to put it is going to be the second paragraph because that's where it lines up, okay? Up next, it asks us, what would be the best way to use this information? Should we paraphrase it, summarize, or quote it? Well, this is a long piece of information. We do not need all of this information in our essay. So I'm going to tell you right now, quoting is not going to happen, okay? Paraphrasing would be keeping most of these ideas here, but putting it in our own words. And again, I don't think we need all this level of detail, which means that our best choice is actually going to be to write a summary. So in our summary, we need to include the basic details of butterfly's life cycle, but not too much detail, because our second paragraph already gives us and lists out the different stages. We just need to give a little bit more detail about what each of those stages is, okay? So I'm going to come over here to my answer sheet, and I'm going to type up a summary of what this little passage is about. And it's going to look something like this. So during the egg stage, an egg is laid on a leaf. The larvae or caterpillar stage occurs when the caterpillar hatches from the egg and eats a lot. The pupa stage is when the pupa rests and becomes inactive. In the butterfly stage, the butterfly appears. Okay, so there's my summary. We're going to fix the spelling issues because I was typing quickly. Okay, now we have to determine where should this information be in the passage. I put my answer in the wrong place. Where should this information go in the passage? How do we add it in? And so when I look back up at my essay, here's a little smaller version of it. We'll go back to look at the big one. When I look back at my essay and I look at that second paragraph, our second paragraph is about the butterfly's life cycle. A butterfly's life cycle consists of 4 interesting stages: the egg stage, the larvae, the caterpillar stage, the pupa or the resting stage, and the final butterfly stage. And then it says it's the popular belief that butterflies have very short lifespans. Well, that's a completely different topic. So the best place to put our summary is going to be right in after that first sentence. So our essay is going to go like this. A butterfly's life cycle consists of 4 interesting stages: an egg stage, the larvae stage or caterpillar stage, the pupa or resting stage, and the final butterfly stage. Then I would put in my summary. During the egg stage, an egg is laid on a leaf. The larvae or caterpillar stage occurs when the caterpillar hatches from the egg and eats a lot. The pupa is when the pupa stage is when the pupa rests and becomes inactive, and the butterfly stage, the butterfly appears. And that's what I would put. But then I would need my citation if I were writing a real essay. We know that the title of our article is Butterflies. So we'd put in that internal citation, and this would be after the first sentence. So my answer here would be the summary would make the most sense after the first sentence. Okay? So that's how we determine where our summaries should go. Next up, you guys are going to look at that second example down here, and you're going to do that one on your own, and then we'll review it. And then this last one, you guys are going to be doing 100% independently. Okay? And the last step of all of this is applying it to your Gateway project, which means going through your Gateway slides. Each slide has a fact on it, and that fact is a direct quote. And looking at that direct quote and deciding, is this going to be best used as a summary because I just need the key ideas and I can put it in my own words? Should it be a paraphrase where I keep all of the big pieces of it, all of the information, but I put it in my own words? Or is it a complicated but short piece that I need the direct quote for? Okay, if you have questions, please make sure you ask your English teacher.